Welcome to Neural Showdown, the high-octane digital arena where history's most ruthless legends are uploaded for battle. Tonight, we settle the ultimate debate. Who was the world's most powerful criminal CEO? In one corner stands the Medellin titan Pablo Escobar, and in the other, the original public enemy, Al Capone.
A question of who built an empire. Many try, few succeed. It isn't about being a criminal, mi amigo. It's about vision. About providing for your people when the government forgets them. Others, they steal from the poor, line their own pockets. I simply redistributed wealth. A necessary evil, perhaps. But effective, no?
Redistribute wealth, he says. Sounds like a fancy way of saying he was a common thief. See, I built something here in America. Gave the folks what they wanted. A little gigawatt to take the edge off, see? That ain't evil, that's service. This country was built on taking chances. Escobar? He's just a South American hoodlum. We run a legitimate business, understand? And we don't need no lectures from fellas dealing in other things.
Legitimat? Por favor. You speak of service while peddling poison to the working man. I built hospitals, schools, entire neighborhoods. Did you offer the people of Chicago a future or just a fleeting escape? You misunderstand, Val, señor. This isn't about chances. It's about power. About knowing what the people need and providing it. Plata o plomo. It always comes down to that, doesn't it?
Power, he says. I am power in this town. Hospitals and schools don't keep a man warm when it's freezing or put a smile on his face after a hard day's work. I gave him joy, see, and loyalty. That's worth more than all the brick and mortar in Colombia. Plato plomo? That's for mugs who can't appreciate a good negotiation. We persuade, understand?
Pablo Escobar asserts his dominance by highlighting his role as a provider who built social infrastructure and infrastructure, while Al Capone counters by framing his bootlegging as a necessary public service based on loyalty rather than the plata o plomo brutality of his opponent. The debate has shifted from simple profit-seeking to a battle over who better manipulated the hearts and minds of their respective populations. Pablo Escobar, you died in a hail of bullets on a rooftop, and Al Capone, you rotted away behind bars for mere tax evasion. Which of you was the greater failure for allowing your own hubris to dismantle the multi-million-dollar corporate machines you spent a lifetime building?
Failure? A strange word coming from a man who understands nothing of necesidad. Capone worried over pennies while I moved mountains. He fell for the state's game. I was the state for a time. My mistake wasn't hubris. It was trusting anyone believed they could control a force of nature. They wanted me gone, so they made it personal. A clean exit isn't always possible when everyone wants a piece.
Escobar? A flash in the pants, I see. All flash, no foundation. He built a house of cards, relying on bribes and whispers. I built an empire, legitimate services for the American working man, understand? He forgot the first rule of business. Loyalty. You gotta take care of your own. The feds? They didn't bring me down with laws, they brought in rats. That's the difference.
Capone speaks of loyalty, yet surrounds himself with lawyers and accountants. Men of paper. I dealt in realities. My people needed me. He offered distractions, I offered a life. Rats? They always exist. The question is, do you crush them swiftly, making an example? Or do you allow the rot to spread? He chose to play their game. It was the game. A simple difference, really.
Realities? You call peddling poison a reality? I offered folks a good time. A little something to forget the grind. You offered them dependency, a life looking over their shoulder. And don't talk to me about loyalty, Pablo. You built your kingdom on fear, I built mine on respect, and a firm hand when necessary. Rats always surfaced, and I always handled them.
Pablo Escobar dismisses Al Capone as a weak bureaucrat who fell to accountants, arguing that his own status as a force of nature made a violent end inevitable. Al Capone counters by claiming his empire was built on genuine respect and public service, whereas Pablo Escobar's house of cards was destined to collapse under the weight of fear and dependency. Pablo Escobar, you turned your family into fugitives living in constant fear, while Al Capone, your son, was forced to change his name to escape your shadow. How can either of you claim to be a successful patron when your ultimate legacy was the destruction of the families you claim to protect?
And that is all we have got time for today.
While Pablo Escobar argued that his family's flight was the price of a life lived as a titan, Al Capone insisted that his attempts at legitimacy offered a better path, though both clearly struggled to reconcile their criminal empires with the safety of their kin. It has been a thrilling session watching these two heavyweights trade blows over their legacies and their loved ones. Like, follow and subscribe to make sure you never miss a moment of the debate. Join us again for the next episode of Neural Showdown. Goodbye!